welcome back. We've had a week break from the box truck. We did sell the van. That was actually yesterday. No, 2 days ago. We dropped that off. On Friday, it's Sunday. How about that? Yesterday was my birthday. Just tighten up the electrical. The only thing I have left to do on the electrical is actually run the supply wires out to wire everything. So like a power wire over to wire up the lights. We'll have some USB charging ports. I got to run the high voltage stuff too for the outlets. So the 120 outlets for the mini split, stuff like that. So Jen's been touching up the ceiling. We got a bunch of materials. She's gonna start clear coating some of the wall boards. So it's now that the van's gone, we're in the rental, it's time to kick butt. Yeah, just jumped right into it. First day back, and looks like the weather's gonna be good this week, so we're gonna get a lot of stuff done. So actually we got a lot going on here. So these are the two DC to DC chargers. So I just got done running wires up to the front of Macho because it's a diesel. It has 2 batteries, and this diesel actually has dual alternators, and they're 220 amp alternators each. So we have a 440 amps total. So I went with 2 DC to DC chargers so we could really charge this sucker up when we need it. One of them I got a little remote for. Here, I got to figure it out. I ain't even messed with it yet. But it's a little remote that plugs in here off this. It's like a Cat 5 wire. So I got to mess with that. I can see the voltage from in the cab. I can turn things on and off. So we got that going on. We got our AC panel. It's been tied in. It's up and running. It's coming off the 5,000 watt inverter, charger, and solar charger. We got 1,850 watts of solar running into this guy. Now this is a 240 volt inverter. So to get 240 volts coming out. So we need to make that 120. So the big white box up here is called an auto transformer, and it converts the 240 into 2 legs of 120. Then over here we got our DC panel. What's cool about the Sterling DC to DC charger is it'll take the 12 volts from the alternator and it'll convert it into 48 volts to charge the system, which is pretty neat. It's main reasons why I went 48 volts because I knew I could get a DC to DC charger for it. I don't believe any other company offers a 12 volt to 48 volt. I could be wrong, but I looked and I couldn't find one. 2 batteries, they're 100 amp hours a piece, they're 48 volts. And they go into this, we have a distribution block, and then out of there we have 2 transformers. Transformers are like, when I looked them up on Amazon, they're kind of like golf cart transformers. Well, they take 36 or 48 volts, they'll drop it down to 12 volts so you could have a cigarette lighter or something so you could charge stuff in your golf cart while you're riding around. So we got a couple of those, and they are 30 amps. So 360 watts at 12 volts. So I got those tied in on the line side in the 48 volts, and then on the load side they go into the breakers. Last thing I need to do to hook this up is I got a double pole breaker, which I'm going to fuse the solar panels. Right now the solar panels just go directly in to the inverter. So I want to take from the panel in to the breaker, and then out of the breaker up to the inverter. And then like I said, I got to run the 120 and the 12 volt supply. So everything that comes off the breakers and feeds everything in here, I still need to do that. But it's just nice to get this thing to this point. So I'm excited, man. It's coming right along.
Alright, so as you can see, it's starting to take shape in here a little bit. We've got our framing for the shower and the bathroom done yesterday. It was quite a productive day. It came with a little frustration though. Kirt will be the first to tell you when he makes a mistake, and unfortunately we just got into a little bit of a rush and miscut one of the boards over here, so I kind of had to start over and cut it right the second time and then match that because we needed 2 walls. And then we also found out that when we were cutting holes for the lights above, we didn't really take into account, or didn't measure properly, the light over the shower here. I think Kirt has found a solution to fix that and move it a little bit more center over the shower there. Hopefully it'll look good. We'll have to do a little patch and repair work, but I think in the end, it'll work. That's got to be done today. Kirt's hooking up the max air fan right now. Yesterday I spent most of the day clear coating and touching up the ceiling, so I'm glad to say that's over with. My neck hurts today. And let's see, what else have we got in store? We got something really exciting in the mail yesterday delivered to us, our Clear Source water filters. I'm so excited to have these. They're great water filters. We can fill it from any water source, whether it's potable, non-potable, even rivers and streams. Yeah, I'm really stoked to have these. We use these in the van. It's the exact same setup. We actually have a 3 canister filter system that as we pump the water into our tank, it'll go through those 3 filters, and then we actually have a 4th additional one that will get filtered as it comes out of our water reservoir and goes to our faucets. And that's just like an extra step of precaution that we're going to take. So over a year on the road in the van, and none of us got sick from any kind of waterborne illness. I'm very excited and stoked to say that. Hopefully that'll stay true for this next journey and leg of our trip here. Highly recommend them. Great people, good customer service, good product. Can't recommend them enough.
Alright, so we messed up on a light up here, which is it's kind of tough being an electrician. But I talked to my wife about how she wanted the lights. I'm the person where I want the light over my workspaces, right? So if I have a bench or a countertop or a shower or whatever, I'm measuring those and putting the light in a certain spot, no matter what they look like up top, okay? But the wife wanted symmetrical, so she wanted evenly spaced out. So when you do that, then you take your eye off of what you're actually lighting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to move this light over here and center it up in here. Now it'll be off from this light. So that's the whole thing. When you're designing your lights, you need to take that into account, right? What's more important, symmetrical or... Now I'm not saying, you know, have one, you know, 2 foot off the wall and one 3 foot off the wall and, you know, whatever, just chaotic lighting, but I think you can make it where it still looks good and it's functional.
Did you guys catch that? I think you just threw me under the bus. Yes, I wanted them symmetrical when we were putting this up, but I swear I thought we measured for where the shower was going to be so that we would have it inside the walls and not off to the center, but oh well. At least we know we can fix it.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie these together, pop this up here, and then the piece we drilled out of here, I'm going to try to get it back in the hole to fill it. Touch up a little bit of paint, hopefully can make that disappear. So I ran this new wire over. I'm just going to splice this in back here. Luckily this is 12 volts, so you don't need a junction box. If this is 120 volts, you wouldn't be able to do this because every tap has to be accessible and has to be in a box. It has to have a cover. So luckily this is 12 volts, so you're not risk of fire or anything like that. So get to making this right, and we'll pick back up with you in a minute.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think it'll work. It just, we got to get it to stick in there. So I put some caulk around it, some clear caulk, and it's paintable. So as long as we can kind of get it to set up and get it pretty flush, then what I can do is I can fill this in, and then once we paint it and it's inside here in the corner, I don't think you're ever gonna No, probably look like a cool looking knot or something. So we got our 3-part system we're going to set up here. Just got it sitting up here now. I got to screw it down and mount it. Our side door is going to be right here. So what we'll do is I'm going to have a panel here that will come off so I can get to the filters, and then we'll have a panel on this side as well that'll open up basically like a door, like a hidden door. So we'll open this up. We'll put our hose in here, it'll filter, it'll go around here to the back and fill up the tank. Then out of the tank there's going to be a pump. Let me get the last filter, hold on. Bam, the last filter. So behind you is going to be the kitchen. So under the sink we'll have the hot water heater, and I'm going to put the filter there so it's easily accessible under the sink. So 4-part system, 3 of them filter stuff out before it goes in the tank, because I don't want the tank to get funky, right? So we can get all the contaminants out before they go in the tank. Then I don't have to worry about cleaning the tank out as often, or hopefully never. And then once it comes out of the tank, we're filtering it one more time just in case it gets funky in the tank. This worked really well in the van. I think this is going to work very well on the box truck. Big shout out to ClearSource, for sponsoring this video. We've used it, we bought it for the van. They were nice enough to give it to us on this build. We'll have a link down below so you guys can save money on this setup. Highly recommend it. Water's extremely, extremely, extremely important. You gotta have good, clean water. Few days. Just kind of getting things caught up with you guys. So as you can see here, I got the diesel heater exhaust mounted. I got the intake mounted. I got the heater mounted. I still need to run the fuel line and mount the diesel tank, which is going to be on the other side of the truck. I got a couple of these boxes here that are going on the other side, but I need materials so I can mount these. Been sanding the floor. Been building some cabinets. Built some cabinets over the bed area near the feet for clothes. I need the face fronts for them, so we'll be picking those up here in the next day or two. Woo, it's windy. Let's see what else. Built the bench, but same thing, I need the face fronts. So I've cut a lot of the components to the cabinets. We just got to get the face fronts, get those built, and then we'll tie all those together and get everything mounted. The floor was a doozy. There's a lot of sanding. Still got a little bit. Still probably got, I don't know, an hour or two. Probably 2 or 3 hours worth of sanding still to do. So I ran out of sandpaper. This really shows how rough from the epoxy this stuff was, and then how sanded it down and cleaned it up. These things had little humps on it. We got a nice little crack in here because these are supposed to be expansion joints, but we filled them in with epoxy. But I'm pleased with this coming together. I think if we can, in a timely manner, which we need to anyways, finish getting this sanded, stained, and sealed, I think that'll help with any of the problems. I did some undercoat, like in a spray can for like body undercoating. I went through like 5 or 6 cans and sprayed the bottom of this stuff to try to help seal it. So as far as the heater, now that we're inside, it is I think it's called a planer heater. It's a Russian made heater, unfortunately, with everything going on with Russia. But it's already been ordered and bought and installed. It's supposedly another option besides an S-bar and a Webasto. Supposedly the word on the street is, in Russia, you gotta have your heater working or you'll die because it gets that cold. So hopefully this thing will work. It's got a high altitude kit of 8,500 feet. If we get up above 8,000, they recommend it mixing some kerosene in with the diesel, and that will do 2 things: help with the elevation and also help clean the unit out. So I'm excited to try this thing out. The install's gone really well. I'm happy with the position of everything. Another thing we installed back here, I got the water pump, got all of our mechanicals back here on this side, which is pretty neat to have everything. So it's coming along nicely. The next week, man, this thing's really gonna come around, especially 2 weeks. I think I can have it probably 90% done in 2 weeks, and then the following week we'll be finishing up little odds and ends.
So like Kurt said, things are really starting to come together. He also fixed our light right above my head here in our shower bathroom. Thank heavens. That was going to drive both of us nuts with it being off center, so thankfully he was able to find an easy solution for that. We painted over the little circle that we had to cut out, and I think it looks good, People probably won't even be able to tell. If you didn't know it was there, you didn't know it was there. So happy with the progress so far. Not bad for our first weeks of work. Tomorrow we're going to have to run into town. We've got a busy day. We've actually got an appointment at a garage door servicer to get our ramp retensioned. When we bought the box truck, it came with 2 ramps essentially, and we sold the second one that goes down to the ground because we didn't need it. And now our spring is a little bit too tight, so we got to get that readjusted so that the door will stay down when we have it. Right now we're just keeping it in place with some rocks. We got that. We've got a Home Depot run, which we'll probably spend a good couple hours. We've got a huge material list. We've got to go by a plumbing store. We've got to pick up our doors and windows. And I think we have to make one other stop at ATO Overland. Is it AT Overland or ATO? AT Overland, because they have...
Turn, T-E-R. We gotta do AT and turn.
And they're both in Prescott. AT Overland has our shower mixing valves, and Turn Overland is where we're getting our doors and windows from. So, and we're gonna have Kurt's belated birthday lunch dinner thrown in, all of that. So it's gonna be a busy day tomorrow. Just hope we can get it all done. And it's probably a good day to go do some running around too, because it's gonna be raining anyways, and we don't really want to be out here working on the box truck in nasty weather. So things are coming together. Not bad for a week's worth of work. Got a lot done.